Hey friends, welcome back to Top 5 Wednesdays. In today's Top 5 Wednesday, the prompt is back to school. So originally I was like, oh, I could do like a school setting and just do academia books and pick my top 5. But I was looking and I have some really good choices for that. But then I was looking more closely at my books, and for top 5 Wednesdays back to school prompt, I'm going to talk about my top 5 books that I think every student should read in school. So these are like my top 5 super important books that I think should be required reads. Are they? No. Some of them are actually banned books. Some of them, yeah. I will also give you an age range because some of these are not appropriate for like little kids. And also depends on like the reading level and things like that. So I had 6, but I tried to limit it down to 5, and I didn't want to just do classics. There are some classics in here, but I didn't want to do just the classics. So we're going to start with To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. I read this for the first time earlier this year. I'll try and find the reading vlog and link it so you can go see me cry my eyes out. This was really, really, really good. You follow Scout. Her name is Scout. And Scout's dad is a white man who is, it's important because during this time in the 30s, Deep South in the 30s, there's a white lawyer who is defending a black man who is accused of raping a white girl. So it's a lot about race, and it depicts the world, especially the Deep South, in the 1930s, almost 100 years ago. And it was so heartbreakingly beautiful. I do think that this is something that you should study. And I think that, like, this should be required we read in upper middle school or even high school. I don't think that young kids could really understand the impact of some of the things in here, and I don't think that they should be reading about some of the content in here anyway, but this was just hauntingly beautiful. I'm sorry if you can hear my husband doing yard work out there. He's getting some work done, and this is, some work of mine that I need to get done too. The next one is another, like, high school aged read that should be required. It is The Road by Cormac McCarthy. I would not say that this is a horror novel, although it could be, but it's very much literary, and it follows this man and his son, and they are just walking along this endless road, the road. And they are living in a post-apocalyptical world. You never find out what the apocalypse was, what started it, what made it the world that this is. But you get the most terrifying cannibalism, scenes, and you get the most hauntingly beautiful, I'm just gonna keep saying hauntingly beautiful relationship between the dad and the son. And like, it was creepy and intense. At times it got really boring, but I don't care because that ending was just heart-wrenching and beautiful, and this is perfect. But I definitely would not make this required reading until the student is mature enough to really read this. There are some scenes that stay with you, and I would not have younger students read it. So it'd be definitely a high school aged book, in my opinion. Then the next three I think are more elementary age. This next one is like, I think second to fourth grade is the perfect age for this. I want to start reading this in my classroom with my kids, so I think that starting this year, it might be more like second quarter, because this school year is already like going so fast. But I'm thinking second quarter I want to read this, and maybe starting next year I want to read a chapter book a quarter with my students and do like a chapter book study type thing. But this is The Phantom Toll Booth by Norton J. This one is another one that I read this year. Actually, so far, all three of them are books I've read this year. All five of them, but one of them I've read previously. Like, I read it every year. But The Phantom Toll Booth follows Milo, who goes to this new place where there's a dog named Talk, or Tick. I think his name is Talk. But it's like a fantasy. This is a map, and he goes to all the different places, like the Valley of Sounds, the Sea of Knowledge, the Conclusions, Foothills of Confusion. And I just feel like this was such a fun adventure book. And it also teaches a lot of language skills that I teach in second grade anyway. So I just found this to be beautiful. It's kind of funny, and the characters in here are what make this book truly incredible. Then I read Charlotte's Web for the first time this year. This is Charlotte's Web by E.B. White. This is just a really fun story about friendship. I would say second to probably fifth grade, or just second and above would probably be good. You could even read this to them in first grade, probably. But this was so cute. It's just this friendship between Wilbur the pig and Charlotte the spider, and I'm gonna cry if I think about it, but it's just so beautiful. I love their friendship. And the last one is also a story about friendship, Where the Red Fern Grows by Wilson Rawls. I've read this every year, almost every year of my life since I was in fourth grade. I absolutely love this book and cherish it so much. But you follow Billy during the Great Depression, and he really wants 2 hunting dogs, but his family can't afford it. So he works really hard, he saves up, and he goes to get his 2 hunting hounds. And then from there, it's just the story of friendship between Old Dan, Little Ann, and Billy. And this one is like, this is perfection, and I will not let you say differently. But those are my top 5 books for Top 5 Wednesday, on the top 5 books I think should be mandatory reads in schools. Now, is this really a change in thing for anyone? Probably not. No one's ever going to watch this video and be like, oh yeah, we're going to require these reads. But coming from an educator perspective, I think these are the top 5 books you should definitely be reading in school. Thanks so much. I will catch you in the next video. Bye.